For the first quarter of my life, I received a gift of education. And then it took me nearly half a century to start giving back. So let me begin sharing my gratitude for the opportunities I have received, both in India and the United States. My parents were gone by the time I was 6 years old. My extended family gave me great support and strength. The government of India sponsored 80% of my undergraduate education at IIT BHU. Coming to the United States, the J.N. Tata Endowment Scholarship made it possible. And here at IIT, Professor Vasan offered me the graduate assistantship that allowed me to complete my work here. Now I started reflecting on all the gifts I had received, and it was my turn to start giving back. And IIT days gave me ample opportunity to practice the art of giving back. As we all know, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. So I began to start practicing giving back in a small ways. During East Pakistani war in 1970-71, refugees had crossed over to India. To support them, we shared and showed Indian movies here at IIT and raised funds for CARE International, which provided blankets to the thousands of refugees. There were several other projects involved with. One was sending the clothing to needy people in India for over 10 years, and a clean drinking water project during a drought in India. Moving on, when I was working at the AT&T Bell Labs, led the Save the Children Holiday Fund Drive for 15 years, where we collected donations from my co-workers and able to sponsor 50 children in 20 different countries. I was the vice chair of the capital campaign for the American Society for Quality and able to raise $1.75 million. I began to understand what President John F. Kennedy said, that for those to whom much is given, much is required. Now I want to start sharing with you my story of the exponential power of the gift of sight in India. Let me take you all back to my high school days. It was month of October, and we had the Festival of Light, and the celebration happens with lots of fireworks. I was about 14 years old, playing with the firecrackers. One of the firecrackers did not go off. Without knowing the consequences, I took that firecracker in my hand, put a puff of air, and that firecracker exploded in my face, and I lost my eyesight. During that time of the darkness, I pondered about my future. What will be my future? No parents to guide and no eyesight. The future was very bleak. Fortunately, with the help of an eye doctor, I regained my eyesight after 24 hours. That incident in 1959 left an indelible impression on me about the plight of the blind people. The God had already planted a seed at that time, which would germinate 30 years later when we'll establish the Blind Foundation for India in 1989. Around that time in 1988, Dr. Rajendra Vyas, a practicing lawyer from India, but he was blinded due to an accident, visited with us. he gave us a very simple challenge to us: do something for the 15 million visually impaired people in India. So with his blessing and inspiration, we started the Blind Foundation for India in 1989. The mission of the Blind Foundation for India is to prevent and cure blindness and to educate and rehabilitate permanently blind people in India. As I come from the quality discipline, we started the organization and we have kept the organization very lean. We only have 6 directors, 100 plus advisors, 1 overseas coordinator, Kishore Shah, and 1 field officer in India. And of course, we have 6,000 plus donors over the last 24 years. Now, moving on, let me explain the issue of blindness in India. India has 1 out of every 3 blind people in the world. 1 out of every 3 blind people in the world live in India. At one extreme, children at the age of 4 to 6 start going blind because they do not have enough vitamin A in their diet. On the other extreme, elderly people with cataract in their eyes, their families do not support them, so they remain needlessly blind. So there are some studies done, and the recent studies we have seen from the Johns Hopkins University that if the children are given vitamin A around the age of 4 to 6, it not only prevents the blindness, but it also helps them to prolong their lifespan. Now, I want to share an exponential power of giving the gift of sight in India. So, if we invest $1 in vitamin A for a child, that child remaining in school and completing the education has a lifetime earning potential of $100,000. This is a true exponential power of gift of giving. Our medical partners go around and visit the schools, examine the children, give them eye drops, glasses, vitamin A, and in rare cases, they need cataract operations. What we have found is that about 2 to 5% of the children have an issue with their eyesight. And what happens? They can't see anything on the blackboard or the whiteboard, and they withdraw from the school. As a result, they become burden to their family, to the society, and they face destitution. So far, with the help of our medical partners, we have examined over 500,000 children in India, and we are on track to complete 1 million children in next 4 years. Here, when we have visited India, we have seen number of child sight projects. Here, children are gathered in the morning doing some exercise before the screening camp. Next, the child is being examined for lack of vitamin A. And here, again, children are lined up and they are waiting for the checkup of their eyesight. Now, let me explain another exponential impact of the gift of curing blindness in India. India, it takes only $20 to remove a cataract compared to $4,000 here in the United States. That mere $20 gives an exponential help to the elderly whose cataracts are removed, and now they can see the beautiful world around them and also become useful to their families and the society. And this is again exponential impact on the people who get the help. Here we have a patient who undergoes 10 minutes of simple cataract surgery and recovery in a hospital. We have done 110,000 free cataract operations over the years and examined over 1 million people for their eyesight checkup. To transport the eye doctors to the villages for a screening camp and bringing patients back for cataract operation at a hospital, we have given 104 vans, and this is one of the van where all the people are close to the van and they are receiving some medication as well as it is used for transport. We have also given 10,000 braille kits to blind children who would study with the sighted kids. So the journey at BFI in the initial stages was slow and difficult. However, with the power of collaboration and teamwork, we are able to stretch our resources. There is an Indian saying that when you collect every drop of water, when collected, it becomes an ocean. With help from my good friend, Rotarian Godrej Bilimoria, we received matching funds to the tune of $500,000 from Rotary Foundation, and then we went exponential. Over the years since 1989, we have raised now $3.5 million to complete all these projects. All we are doing is providing hope to children and the elderly. And when we see the joy and a beautiful smile on their faces, it is priceless. I would like you to just reflect on the words of the 18th century French missionary, Athénée de Grelais, who said that I expect to pass through this world but once. Let me do any good things for my fellow creature. Let me not defer it or neglect it, because I shall not pass through this world again. We have a time while we are here on this earth to do something for others. Find your passion and help others. I've been very, very fortunate to have touched the lives of over 1.2 million people around the world through philanthropic, academic, professional, and corporate service. I believe we all have the power to replicate the BFI model of finding low-cost solution to social issues. In order to achieve the exponential impact, we need to use some simple quality tools: process mapping, problem solving. I want to leave on a very positive story. Here, the girl Kamala, shown with a squint eye, has a much brighter future after a simple corrective surgery, and her entire outlook on the life has changed. As I mentioned, the massive issue of blindness in India, there is a silver lining to it. 80% of the blindness in India is either preventable or curable. All we need is the people to provide a little bit of resource, which goes a long way in India. Finally, I want to have all of you to consider a cause which is close to your heart and try to find people who are like-minded and collaborate with them, and also remember to recognize your volunteers and your donors. The philanthropy requires 3 things. What are they? Your gift of time, talent, and treasure. You all can experience the exponential power of gift of giving. Thank you.